anyone who's expecting a wrestling memoir, that isn't what this is per se. It's much more than that. It's a book that kind of deeply moved me because it's filled with all these kind of life lessons that you've picked up over the last 40 years. When, as you say, you have been fighting life, throughout those 40 years, and you're really open and really honest about, marriage, about family, about faith, about exploring so many different aspects of life, and about the thing that really was important to me about keeping perspective. You work in an industry which is so larger than life and crazy, and you've struck me reading this book as someone who's remained very, very grounded throughout all of that. What's the response been like so far from readers and kind of going out on the book tour?
I've been told that people have found a sense of finding a common ground with people in their surroundings that they didn't necessarily have before they read the book. Like, they realized that we were actually more alike than they would have imagined. And then they began to make correlations with things directly in their own life, where they're like, I don't feel as distant as I did with these things now that I've read this, because they read similarities in the way I was feeling and realized that they weren't alone. I've had people howling, laughing at some of the stuff that happened, which was, if anything was going to come out of the book, I would at least want it to be that, if no one had any sort of philosophical epiphanies. But I had a very close friend of mine today, who I've known for years. I'll just say his name is Justin. He lives in Los Angeles, in case he hears this. Without going into his personal details, he said, I didn't discover anything new about myself, but I reaffirmed everything that I was certain about myself in my life. And I thought that was really cool. That was an unanticipated reaction that I thought I could get from someone reading my story, which I loved. It was sort of like a checkbox of confidence of who this person felt like they always were, and it was okay to be that way, which I thought was really cool.